Time is one of the greatest mysteries of our existence. It's a force we can't see or touch, yet it controls every aspect of our lives. We age, we change, and the world around us evolves with every passing second. But what if you could escape the grip of time? What if you fell asleep today and woke up centuries later, unchanged while the world around you had moved on? This is the story of a group of young men who experienced exactly that. A story that challenges our understanding of time and reminds us that the future is never truly in our hands. In the distant past, during the reign of the tyrant king Decius, the city of Ephesus was ruled with an iron fist. The people of the city were compelled to worship idols, and anyone who refused was met with brutal persecution. It was a time of fear and oppression, where defiance meant torture or death. The villagers of Ephesus, out of fear or blind loyalty, bowed down to these idols, sacrificing and praying to them. However, a small group of young men rejected these practices. They believed in the one true God, the creator of the heavens and the earth, and could no longer tolerate living in a society where false gods were worshipped. These young men were Maximilian, Jamblichus, Martinian, John, Dionysius, Exacustodianus, and Antonius. The king, Decius, was known for his brutal punishment of anyone who dared to stray from the state religion. Anyone who refused to worship the idols was either tortured or fed to wild beasts in public, as an example. The young men were aware of the danger they faced, but their faith gave them strength and they chose to resist the king's orders. One day, during a grand festival in honor of the idols, the young men witnessed their fellow villagers performing sacrifices. Filled with a sense of purpose, they gathered secretly outside the village. One by one, they made their way to a secluded spot under the shade of a large tree. They shared their frustrations, and one of them spoke.
"We cannot remain silent any longer. How can we worship idols that neither harm nor benefit us, when we know that only the Creator is worthy of worship?"
Each of the young men revealed that he too believed in the one true God. United in their faith, they decided to break away from the society that oppressed them. Together, they planned to escape to the mountains to protect their beliefs. Unfortunately, their secret did not last long. News of their faith reached King Decius, who was furious. He summoned them to his court, where he threatened them with death if they did not return to the worship of idols. However, these brave young men stood firm in their faith. Despite their fear, they told the king,
"Our Lord is the Lord of the heavens and the earth. We will never worship any god other than Him."
Angered by their defiance, Decius gave them a short time to reconsider their decision. But instead of returning to their old ways, the young men saw this as an opportunity to flee. They decided to escape the village, heading towards the mountains. They eventually found a cave hidden deep within the hills. This cave, later named Al-Raqeem, became their refuge. In the cave, they prayed for mercy and protection. Exhausted from their journey and anxious about the future, they fell into a deep sleep. What they didn't know was that this sleep would last for centuries, 309 years to be exact. During this time, their bodies remained perfectly preserved. The sunlight never touched their skin directly, and their positions were constantly shifted, as if by invisible hands, to prevent any harm. Even their dog, Chitmir, who had accompanied them, lay at the entrance of the cave, also in a deep sleep, guarding his companions. Anyone who looked into the cave would have been filled with fear, as the young men's eyes remained open, though they were fast asleep. God protected them from all harm while they remained in this mysterious slumber. After 309 years, the young men awoke, completely unaware of how much time had passed. They felt tired and hungry, as though only a day or two had gone by. One of them, Jamblichus, was sent to the nearby town to buy food. As he entered the town, he was surprised by how much had changed. The buildings, the streets, and even the people were different. When he went to pay for food, he handed the shopkeeper coins that bore the image of King Decius. The shopkeeper, puzzled, asked,
"Where did you get this coin? It hasn't been used for centuries."
Jamblichus, confused, insisted that it was the current currency. But soon he realized something extraordinary had happened. They had slept for hundreds of years. Jamblichus explained his story, and soon word of this miraculous event spread throughout the town. The townspeople and their ruler rushed to learn more about these mysterious men who had defied the very laws of time. They were celebrated for their faith and bravery. hailed as living miracles who had survived the centuries through divine protection. However, as time passed, the people's admiration began to take a different turn. The story of the young men became more than just a tale of faith. It became a tool to draw more attention to the town. The local religious leaders used their miraculous survival to attract visitors, encouraging people to come to the village and pray at the local church, promising blessings and divine favor to those who did. The young men, once revered for their steadfastness in faith, began to notice that their story was being exploited. The people who came to the village did so not to learn about the faith or to reflect on the miracle of God's will, but to marvel at them as though they were relics. They were disturbed by the way their story was being used to gain fame and fortune for the town, turning what should have been a humble reminder of faith into something close to idolization. Uncomfortable with how they were being treated, the young men sought refuge once again. They returned to the cave that had once sheltered them, knowing that the attention was diverting people from the true message of their story. Inside the cave, they prayed together, asking God for guidance. They did not want to be the cause of people straying from the path of true faith. In the end, they asked God to take their souls so that they might leave this world in peace before their miraculous story could be further misused. Their prayer was answered. The young men peacefully passed away in the same cave where they had sought refuge centuries before, leaving behind a powerful legacy, but also a reminder. The townspeople, realizing their passing, built a shrine at the entrance of the cave to honor them, but their true lesson endured, that faith should remain pure, untainted by worldly gain or false worship. In the end, only God knows what will happen, and it is a reminder that nothing in this life is guaranteed. We should always be mindful that our plans, no matter how well made, are ultimately in the hands of a higher power.